Okay, for our last section, we are going to be graphing exponentials and logs. So first thing you have to remember is that if it's an exponential graph, it will have a horizontal asymptote. So this is going to be the line that the graph will never touch, and it's really hard to tell on some of these that it's never touching it. But in this case, our asymptote is going to be down at -3, and this is a horizontal, so we're going to put y equals -3, okay? The intercept is going to be a y-intercept on this graph, so it's going to be 0, -2. Now we have to do the domain and range. So the domain is going to go from left to right. That's going to not have any restrictions. But the range it's going to be from this asymptote, which is -3. But remember, with asymptotes, we cannot include them. So we have to use a parenthesis to show that that would be an open circle or that it does not include that number. And then it goes up to infinity. Okay, now we are going to graph an exponential graph. So what you want to remember is that an exponential graph will always go through the point 0 and 1, okay? And then whatever the base is, so we can identify the base on this problem is a 3. So I'm going to do, using the base, if I had a 1 in place of my x, I would have a 3 to the 1, and I would get a 3. So this is going to be 1, and this will be 3. And then if I do the opposite down here, if I do a -1, then it will be a 1/3. Okay, so this is our starting point for the exponential graph. And what you want to keep in mind is that this graph is going to go up 2 and right 4. Okay. Now, because an asymptote is normally at 0 and I go up 2, my new asymptote is at 2. So the first thing I want to draw is that asymptote at 2. So let's go up to 2 and do our dotted line to show our asymptote. Okay. And that is going to be the vertical shift is going to be our asymptote. Now, it looks like when I switched that graph, it changed my numbers. So I'm going to erase that really fast and redo that. Okay, so -1, 1/3, 0, 1, and 1/3. Now we went up 2, so we're going to be adding 2 to the y value. So this will become 2.3, this will become 3, and this will become 5. And then since I'm going right 4, we're going to add 4 to the x value. So this is going to be -1 plus 4 is 3. 0 plus 4 is 4. And then 1 plus 4 is 5. So these are going to be ordered pairs on the graph. So 3, 2.3, 4, 3, and 5, 5. So we go 3 and up 2.3, so it's just barely going to be above that asymptote. And then 4 goes up 3, and 5 goes up 5. And this is where it's going to start going up faster, okay? So remember, the graph is never going to touch the asymptote, and it's kind of hard to draw it, but it's going to go like this and then go up, okay? The log, and the way I tell my students to remember this asymptote is the straight line for log is the straight asymptote for x, okay? So our log asymptote is a vertical asymptote, and we're going to look at the parentheses of the log. So x plus 5 equals 0, subtract the 5, x equals -5 is our vertical asymptote. So I'm going to go over to -5 and draw the vertical asymptote, okay? Now, just like our exponential graph, we can start with our points here, but it's going to be the inverse. So the base here is 2, but instead of having a 0, 1, it's going to be 1, 0, okay? And then instead of having the 1 and then the 3, it's going to be the base and then the 1, and 1 over the base with the -1, okay? Now this graph is going to go left 5 and down 3. So left 5 and down 3, okay? But what I have to do is say, well, my normal point was at 1, 0. That's right here. If I move that point left 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this is our new point. So that can give you an idea of where this is going. But let's do it on our table. So for the down 3, we're going to subtract 3. That gives us -4, -3, and -2. And then for the left 5, we subtract 5. So I'm going to write it like this so you can see it a little bit better. 1/2 minus 5, 1 minus 5, and 2 minus 5. So this gives us -4.5, -4, and -3. So let's just write down those ordered pairs. So -4.5, -4, -4 and -3, and then -3, -2. Okay, so -4.5 is just a little bit past this -4, and then it's down 4. So it's right here. And then -4, -3 is right here, and -3, -2 is right here. Now log graphs, remember they have this tail that goes next to the asymptote, and then they go like this. It's not going to be exact because we didn't find the x-intercept. This is actually probably going to be a little bit lower like this. Okay, but on this problem, it's going to be, you're going to be having to graph this by hand by using your table of values and your transformations and having your ordered pairs and your graph correct.